The CEO's wife framed the male intern. She didn't expect him to stay silent. For 6 months, Daniel Torres worked late nights at Mercer Global. 22 years old, intern salary, student loans crushing him. He filed reports, answered emails, stayed invisible. Then one Thursday evening, the CEO's wife walked into his office, locked the door behind her, and 10 minutes later, she was screaming that he'd assaulted her. Security cameras were disabled. Her blouse was torn. Her story was perfect. And Daniel said nothing. Not to the police. Not to the lawyers. Not to anyone. He just looked at her with those quiet eyes and waited. What Catherine Mercer didn't know, what she couldn't have known, was that silence can be the loudest weapon of all. And by the time she realized what a silence meant, it was already too late. Daniel Torres is filing expense reports when Catherine Mercer walks past his cubicle for the 3rd time in an hour. He doesn't look up. He's learned not to make eye contact with the executive level. Interns are furniture. Invisible. Replaceable. It's 8:47 p.m. on a Thursday. The 23rd floor is empty except for him and the cleaning crew 2 floors down. His supervisor assigned him the quarterly audit reconciliation, 300 pages of receipts that need to be entered by Monday. It's grunt work, the kind they give to interns who can't say no. Daniel's been at Mercer Global for 6 months. Investment banking, corner offices, people who wear watches that cost more than his entire education. He makes $18 an hour. His student loans are $63,000. His mother is working double shifts at a hospital in San Antonio, so he can have this chance. He doesn't complain. He comes in early, stays late, does what he's told. Catherine Mercer stops at his cubicle. "You're here late." Daniel looks up. She's standing in the entrance, one hand on the partition. Mid-40s, blonde, expensive everything. Wife of Jonathan Mercer, the CEO. Daniel's seen her at company events. She doesn't work here. She just owns the building. "Yes, ma'am. Audit reconciliation. That's a lot of work for one person." Her voice is smooth, practiced, the kind that's used to getting what it wants. "I'll manage." She studies him for a moment. "You're the intern from Texas, the one who went to state school." "Yes, ma'am. Jonathan mentioned you. Says you're very diligent." She smiles. "Diligent is good. We appreciate diligence." Daniel nods, trying to return his attention to the spreadsheet. She doesn't leave. "Do you know where conference room C is?" "Yes, ma'am. I left some documents in there earlier. Legal papers for Jonathan. Would you mind bringing them to my car? I'm parked in the executive garage." Daniel hesitates. It's not his job, but she's the CEO's wife. "Of course. Thank you. Conference room C. 3rd door on the left." She walks away. Daniel saves his work, stands, heads down the hallway. The floor is silent. His footsteps echo on marble. Conference room C is at the end of the hall, past the executive suites. He opens the door. The lights are already on. There are no documents on the table. Before he can turn around, Catherine enters behind him, closes the door, locks it. Daniel's stomach drops. "Ma'am, I don't see any." "There are no documents, Daniel." He takes a step back. "I should get back to work." She doesn't move from the door. "Do you know how much money my husband makes?" "No, ma'am. $12 million a year. Base salary. Not counting bonuses. Stock options. Dividends." She walks slowly toward him. "Do you know how much money I have access to?" "Ma'am, I really need to. All of it. Every cent. Because I signed a prenuptial agreement 20 years ago that seemed very smart at the time." Her voice changes. Colder. Sharper. "But prenups have clauses, Daniel. Infidelity clauses. If Jonathan cheats, the prenup is void. I get half of everything." Daniel's back hits the wall. "I don't understand what this has to do with." "Jonathan's been sleeping with his secretary for 8 months. I have proof. Photos. Emails. Hotel receipts." She stops 3 feet from him. "But his lawyers are better than mine. They'll argue consent. Mutual attraction. No power imbalance. They'll make her look like a gold digger and me look like a bitter wife." Daniel's heart is pounding. "Mrs. Mercer, I think you should speak with your attorney." I did. He said I need leverage. Something that makes Jonathan look like a predator. A pattern of behavior. Multiple victims. She tilts her head. Do you understand what I'm saying, Daniel? No. But he does. He understands perfectly. You're going to help me. Ma'am, I can't. She reaches up and tears her own blouse. Buttons scatter across the floor. Yes, you can. Daniel freezes. What are you doing? What I have to. She drags her nails across her own neck. Red lines appear. Security cameras in this room were disabled an hour ago. Maintenance issue. It happens. She knocks a chair over. It crashes against the table. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to start screaming. I'm going to say you attacked me. Tried to force yourself on me. That I barely escaped. Daniel can't breathe. No one will believe that. Everyone will believe it. You're a 22-year-old intern from nowhere. I'm Catherine Mercer, wife of Jonathan Mercer. Which one of us do you think they'll trust? She steps closer. You can cooperate, and I'll make sure you're taken care of. A settlement. Enough to pay off your loans. Enough to disappear quietly. I won't lie. You won't have to. I'll do all the talking. Her voice drops. Or you can refuse, and I'll destroy you anyway. Either way, my husband looks like he runs a company where women aren't safe. Either way, I get my divorce settlement. But only one way do you survive this. Daniel stares at her. At the torn blouse. The scratches. The calculation in her eyes. I'm giving you 10 seconds to decide. His mouth is dry. I didn't do anything. I know. She smiles. That's what makes this so easy. She opens her mouth and screams. The police arrive at 9:23 p.m. 2 officers. A man and a woman. Daniel is sitting in his cubicle. Hands on the desk. Exactly where security told him to wait. Catherine is in Jonathan Mercer's office, with a blanket around her shoulders and tears on her face. The female officer approaches Daniel first. Daniel Torres? Yes. I'm Officer Martinez. I need you to come with me. Daniel stands. His legs feel like water. Am I under arrest? Not yet. We need to ask you some questions. They take him to a conference room. Different from the one where it happened. This one has windows. Cameras. Witnesses in the hallway. Officer Martinez sits across from him. The male officer stands by the door. Do you know why we're here, Daniel? Mrs. Mercer says I attacked her. Did you? No. Where were you at approximately 8:55 p.m.? Conference room C. She asked me to retrieve documents for her. When I got there were no documents. She came in behind me, locked the door. Then she tore her own clothes and started screaming. Officer Martinez, write something down. She tore her own clothes. Yes. Why would she do that? She told me she wanted to frame her husband, make it look like there's a pattern of assault at his company, for her divorce settlement. The officer's pen stops moving. She told you this? Yes. Before or after the alleged assault? There was no assault. She told me her plan. Then she destroyed evidence herself. Then she screamed. Officer Martinez leans back. Daniel, do you understand how this sounds? I understand how it sounds, but it's the truth. Mrs. Mercer has visible injuries. Scratches on her neck. Her blouse is torn. She's visibly shaken. She did that to herself. I never touched her. Can anyone corroborate your story? No. The room was locked. The cameras were disabled. That was part of her plan. The officer exchanges a glance with her partner. You're saying Catherine Mercer, one of the wealthiest women in the city, fabricated an assault allegation against a 22-year-old intern to leverage a divorce settlement. Yes. And you have no proof of this. No. Silence. Daniel, I'm going to be honest with you. This doesn't look good. We have a credible witness with visible injuries making a detailed accusation. We have you, alone in a locked room with her, with no witnesses and no evidence to support your version of events. Daniel says nothing. If you cooperate now, if you're honest about what happened, that goes a long way with prosecutors. But if you stick to this story, it's not a story. It's what happened. Officer Martinez closes her notebook. Then you're going to need a lawyer. They arrest him at 11:47 p.m. Read him his rights. Process him. Take his photo. His fingerprints. His shoelaces and belt. They put him in a holding cell with 3 other men. One is drunk. One is asleep. One watches Daniel with eyes that calculate violence. Daniel sits on the bench and stares at the wall. At 3:22 a.m., a public defender arrives. Young. Tired. Carrying too many files. Daniel Torres? Yes. I'm Amanda Chun. I've been assigned to your case. She sits next to him, opens a folder. I've read the police report. This is bad. I didn't touch her. I believe you. But belief doesn't matter in court. Evidence matters. And right now, the evidence is on her side. She's lying. I know. But she's lying very well. Amanda flips through pages. Catherine Mercer gave a detailed statement. She says you asked her to meet you in conference room C to discuss a project. When she arrived, you locked the door. She says you grabbed her, tried to kiss her, tore her blouse. When she resisted, she says she screamed and you ran. None of that happened. Her injuries match her story. The timeline matches. The location matches. And she has no apparent motive to lie. Her motive is money. She wants her husband's fortune. She told me. She told you her plan to frame her own husband, then decided to frame you instead? Amanda shakes her head. No jury will believe that. So what do? You take the plea deal they're going to offer. Probably misdemeanor assault. Probation. Mandatory counseling. You'll have a record, but you won't go to prison. I'm not pleading guilty to something I didn't do. Amanda looks at him for a long moment. Then you're going to trial. And you're probably going to lose. Daniel is released on bail at 6 a.m. His mother wired $5,000 she doesn't have. He walks out of the police station into Friday morning sunlight. His phone has 43 missed calls. 3 from his supervisor. 15 from classmates. 25 from numbers he doesn't recognize. The rest from journalists. There's an email waiting when he checks. From Mercer Global HR. Your internship has been terminated effective immediately. Please return your building access credentials and company property by end of business today. You are not permitted on company premises. Daniel takes the train to his apartment. Studio. 400 square feet. Loans and scholarships and his mother's overtime. He sits on the bed and stares at nothing. His phone rings. Unknown number. He answers. Daniel Torres? Yes. This is Lisa Park from Channel 7 News. We'd like to interview you about the allegations against. Daniel hangs up. It rings again. Different number. Mr. Torres, this is David Klein from the Metropolitan Observer. We're running a story on the alleged assault at Mercer Global and... Daniel hangs up, turns off his phone, sits in silence. Outside his window, the city moves. People go to work, live their lives. No one knows his name yet, but they will. By tonight, his face will be on the news. By tomorrow, strangers will have opinions about what he did, what kind of person he is. And there's nothing he can say that will change it, because the truth sounds insane, and the lie sounds believable. So Daniel Torres sits in his apartment and makes a decision. He won't fight. He won't defend himself. He won't give interviews or make statements or hire expensive lawyers. He'll just stay silent, and he'll wait. The arraignment is Monday morning. Daniel wears the only suit he owns. Off the rack. Altered at a discount shop. It doesn't fit right. Catherine Mercer sits 3 rows behind the prosecutor. Designer dress. Perfect makeup. Jonathan is beside her, hand on her shoulder. United front. The judge reads the charges. Assault. Battery. Attempted sexual assault. She looks at Daniel. How do you plead? Amanda Chin stands beside him. Not guilty, Your Honor. The prosecutor stands. Your Honor, given the severity of the charges and the defendant's lack of ties to the community, the state requests bail be set at $100,000. My client is a graduate student with no criminal record, Amanda argues. He's not a flight risk. He's also unemployed and facing serious prison time. The judge considers. Bail is set at $50,000. Next, Daniel can't make $50,000. His mother already emptied her savings for the initial $5,000. He's going back to jail. But then Amanda whispers, "Someone posted it. You're free to go." Who? Anonymous. Cashier's check. It's legitimate. Daniel walks out of the courthouse into a wall of cameras. Reporters shout questions. Microphones thrust toward his face. "Daniel, did you assault Mrs. Mercer? Why did you target her? Do you have a history of violence?" He keeps walking. Says nothing. Gets into Amanda's car. "You need to respond to this," Amanda says as she drives. "The media is destroying you. You're the villain in every story. Entitled Intern. Predator. They're already digging into your past." "What past? I don't have a past." "Everyone has something. A bad tweet. A drunken photo. An ex-girlfriend with an axe to grind. They'll find something and make it sound damning." Daniel stares out the window. "Let them. That's not a strategy, Daniel. That's suicide." "Then I'll die." Amanda pulls over. Turns to face him. "Why won't you fight this?" "Because she wants me to fight. That's part of her plan. The more I defend myself, the guiltier I look. The more I protest, the more attention the story gets. She's counting on me being desperate, loud, making mistakes. So you're going to do nothing?" "I'm going to wait." "For what?" "For her to make a mistake." Amanda stares at him. "That's insane." "Maybe." Daniel opens the car door. "But it's all I have." He spends the next 3 weeks in his apartment. Doesn't leave except for court appearances. Doesn't answer his phone except when Amanda calls. Doesn't read the news. His mother calls every day. "Mijo, you need to defend yourself. Tell them what happened." "I can't, Mama." "Why not?" "Because the truth sounds like a lie. And the lie sounds like the truth." His mother cries. He can hear it through the phone. "I didn't work all those years, so you could go to prison for something you didn't do." "I know." "Then fight." "I am fighting. Just not the way everyone expects." She doesn't understand. No one does. But Daniel knows something about Catherine Mercer that she doesn't know he knows. The day she framed him, she made one mistake. One tiny, critical mistake. She assumed he was powerless. She assumed he'd panic, break, defend himself clumsily, give her ammunition to destroy him. She didn't count on silence. And silence is where people reveal themselves. Every day Catherine doesn't see him fighting back. She has to wonder why. Every day the case drags on without his statement, without his defense. She has to question her strategy. Predators need resistance to justify their violence. Liars need denial to refine their lies. Daniel gives her nothing. And in that nothing, he's building something. Doubt. The preliminary hearing is scheduled for late October. Daniel arrives early. Amanda meets him outside. The prosecutor offered a plea. Last chance. Misdemeanor assault. 2 years probation. Mandatory counseling. "No, Daniel, if you go to trial and lose, you're looking at 7 years minimum." "I know. And you still won't take the plea." "I won't confess to something I didn't do." Amanda shakes her head. "Then we go to trial. And I hope you're right about whatever it is you're waiting for." Inside the courtroom, Catherine sits in the gallery. Jonathan beside her. She looks smaller than she did at the arraignment. Thinner. Tired. Their eyes meet across the room. Daniel doesn't look away. And for the first time, he sees it. Fear. She's afraid. Because she's watching him not fight, and she doesn't understand why. Because every day he stays silent. Her story has to stand on its own. Without his mistakes to prop it up. Daniel sits down. Folds his hands. Waits. The judge enters. The hearing begins. And Daniel Torres says nothing at all. The trial date is set for January. 3 months away. Daniel spends them working at a warehouse loading trucks. Night shift. Minimum wage. His student loans go into default. His apartment rent goes unpaid. His landlord threatens eviction. He doesn't care. In early December, Amanda calls. "We need to talk." They meet at a diner. She slides a folder across the table. Jonathan Mercer's attorneys reached out. They want to meet. "Why?" They wouldn't say. But they're not on Catherine's side. They're representing Jonathan separately. What does that mean? It means the perfect marriage is cracking. The meeting is in a conference room at a law firm that occupies 4 floors downtown. 3 attorneys. All men. All expensive. The lead attorney speaks first. Mr. Torres, my name is Robert Kincaid. I represent Jonathan Mercer in his personal capacity, separate from his wife's allegations against you. Daniel says nothing. My client is in a difficult position. His wife has accused you of assault. He's publicly supported her. But privately, he has concerns. What kind of concerns? Concerns about timing, motivation, certain financial irregularities that have come to light in recent months. Kincaid opens a file. Are you aware that Mrs. Mercer attempted to access her husband's personal banking records 3 weeks before your alleged assault? Daniel wasn't aware. No. Are you aware that she consulted with a divorce attorney 4 times in the 2 months prior? No. Are you aware that she had the security cameras in conference room C disabled by claiming a maintenance issue that didn't exist? Daniel's heart starts pounding. She told me the cameras were disabled. I didn't know she was the one who requested it. Kincaid leans forward. Mr. Torres, my client is beginning to believe that his wife may have fabricated this allegation for purposes related to their marriage, not to any action you took. Then tell him to say that publicly. He can't. If he defends you, it looks like he's protecting a predator. If he doubts his wife, it looks like he's victim-blaming. He's trapped. So what do you want from me? We want you to accept a settlement. Enough money to start over. Enough to make this go away quietly. In exchange, you plead to a lesser charge. No jail time. Probation. Counseling. You move on with your life. Daniel stares at him. You want me to confess to something I didn't do, so your client doesn't look bad. We want you to be practical. You're 22 years old with no resources and a mountain of legal bills. You're about to go to trial against one of the most powerful families in the state. Even if you win, you lose. Your name is destroyed. Your career is finished. No one will hire you. So I should just give up. You should accept reality. Daniel stands. My reality is that I didn't touch her. And I won't say I did. Not for money. Not for convenience. Not for anything. Kincaid's expression doesn't change. Then you're a fool. Maybe. But I'm an honest fool. Daniel walks out. Amanda follows. You should have taken that deal. No, Daniel, they were offering you a way out. They were offering me a lie. I don't want a way out. I want the truth. The truth doesn't always win. Then I'll lose honestly. Amanda stops walking. You know what your problem is? You think justice happens automatically, like the universe keeps score. It doesn't. Justice happens when people fight for it, when they make noise, when they refuse to be quiet. Daniel turns to face her. I'm not being quiet. I'm being strategic. By doing nothing. By letting her destroy herself. That's not. She's panicking, Amanda. Can't you see it? Her husband's lawyers are investigating her. The story isn't dying down. I'm not giving her ammunition. She's running out of moves. Or she's preparing to bury you. Daniel shakes his head. She's already buried me. The question is whether she buried herself too. Christmas passes. Daniel spends it alone. His mother can't afford the flight from Texas. His friends have stopped calling. The news cycle has moved on to other scandals. But the trial is coming. And on January 4th, 3 weeks before the trial date, something breaks. Amanda calls at 6 a.m. Turn on the news. Daniel turns on his phone. Opens a news app. The headline stops his heart. Mercer divorce filing claims wife fabricated assault allegation. He reads the article. Jonathan Mercer has filed for divorce. The filing includes allegations that Catherine fabricated the assault claim to leverage her prenuptial agreement. It includes evidence, bank records, email correspondence, security logs showing she requested the camera disable. Daniel's hands shake. His phone rings. Amanda, did you see? Yes. This changes everything. The prosecutor's office just called. They're reviewing the charges. What does that mean? It means you might walk away from this. Daniel sits down. After 6 months. After the arrest. The bail. The headlines. The destroyed reputation. He might walk away. Daniel. Amanda's voice is careful. How did you know? Know what? That staying silent would work. That she'd crack. Daniel thinks about conference room C. About Catherine's eyes when she tore her own blouse. About the calculation. The certainty. The assumption that he'd fight back. I didn't know, he says quietly. I just trusted that the truth was stronger than her lie. And that eventually, she'd forget that too. The line is quiet for a moment. You're either very wise or very lucky. Maybe both. I'll call you when I know more. She hangs up. Daniel sits in his apartment as morning light fills the room. And for the first time in 6 months, he allows himself to hope. The charges are dropped on January 11th. Insufficient evidence. Credibility concerns. The prosecutor releases a statement. After reviewing new information, we no longer believe we can prove guilt beyond a reasonable doubt. It's not an exoneration, not an apology, just a bureaucratic retreat. But it's enough. Daniel walks out of the courthouse into winter sunlight. No cameras this time. No reporters. The story is about Catherine now. About Jonathan's divorce filing. About the scandal of a wealthy woman weaponizing assault allegations. Daniel is a footnote. Amanda meets him on the steps. It's over. Is it? The criminal case is. But you could file a civil suit. Malicious prosecution. Defamation. She destroyed your reputation. You're entitled to. No. Amanda blinks. No. I don't want her money. I don't want anything from her. Daniel. She tried to destroy your life. I know. And she failed. That's enough. That's not justice. Yes, it is. Justice isn't revenge. It's truth. And the truth is out now. Amanda studies him. You're a better person than I am. I'm just tired. She nods. What will you do now? I don't know. Find a job. Finish school. Figure out how to start over. Your record is clear. The charges were dropped. You can go back to banking if you want. Daniel shakes his head. I don't think I want it anymore. Then what? Something honest. Amanda smiles. Good luck, Daniel Torres. You deserve it. They shake hands. She walks away. Daniel stands on the courthouse steps for a long moment. Then he takes out his phone. Calls his mother. Mijo. It's over, Mama. The charges were dropped. She starts crying immediately. Gracias a Dios. Gracias a Dios. I'm okay. I'm coming home for a while. If that's okay. Of course it's okay. When? Soon. I just need to finish a few things here. They talk for 20 minutes. She tells him about work. About the neighbors. About the church ladies who've been praying for him. He tells her he loves her. That he's sorry for the worry. That it's over now. When he hangs up, there's a text from an unknown number. I need to speak with you. It's from Catherine. Daniel stares at the message. Deletes it. Starts walking. His phone rings. Her number. He lets it ring. Doesn't answer. It rings again. He turns it off. 2 days later, there's a knock on his apartment door. Daniel opens it. Catherine Mercer stands in the hallway. No makeup. Sweatshirt. Jeans. She looks like someone who hasn't slept in weeks. Please, she says. 5 minutes. Daniel should close the door. Should call his lawyer. Should protect himself. But he's tired of fighting. So he steps aside. She enters. Looks around the tiny apartment. Sees the second-hand furniture. The law textbooks. The life she tried to destroy. I'm sorry, she says. Daniel doesn't respond. I know that's not enough. I know what I did was unforgivable. But I need you to understand. I do understand. You wanted money. You were willing to destroy an innocent person to get it. It wasn't just money. It was freedom. Jonathan controlled everything. Every dollar. Every decision. I was suffocating. So you tried to make me suffocate instead. Catherine's eyes fill with tears. I didn't think it would go this far. I thought you'd take the settlement. Disappear. I didn't think. You didn't think I'd have integrity. That's the problem with people like you. You can't imagine someone refusing money because it's easier to believe everyone has a price. I'm losing everything now. The divorce. The reputation. My friends won't return my calls. My family. Her voice breaks. I just wanted you to know I'm sorry. And that I'm not contesting the divorce. Jonathan gets everything. I'm walking away with nothing. Daniel looks at her. This woman who stood in conference room C and calculated his destruction. Who tore her own clothes. Who cried on command. She looks smaller now. Broken. I hope you find what you're looking for. Daniel says quietly. But you won't find forgiveness here. Catherine nods. Wipes her eyes. Walks to the door. Stops. Why didn't you fight back? All those months, you never defended yourself. Never gave interviews. Never hired a PR firm. Why? Daniel considers the question. Because I knew the truth was stronger than your lie. I just had to wait for you to forget that. She stares at him. Then she leaves. Daniel closes the door. Sits on his bed. Outside, the city moves. People live their lives. The world keeps turning. His phone buzzes. Text from Amanda. Channel 4 wants to interview you. Exclusive. They'll pay. Daniel deletes it. Another text. Publisher wants to buy your story. 6 figures. He deletes that too. The truth is out. His name is clear. That's enough. He doesn't need revenge. Doesn't need money. Doesn't need Catherine Mercer to suffer more than she already is. He just needs to move forward. That night, Daniel packs his apartment. Books, clothes, the few things he owns. He's moving back to Texas. Back to his mother. Back to something honest. As he's taping boxes, he finds a notebook from his first day at Mercer Global. The employee handbook. The corporate values printed on the first page. Integrity. Excellence. Accountability. Daniel tears the page out. Throws it away. And then he keeps packing. 3 months later, Daniel Torres is enrolled in a teaching program. Public school. Inner city. Kids who need someone who believes in them. He'll never work in finance. Never make millions. Never have the corner office. But he'll have something Catherine Mercer never understood. He'll have dignity. And in the end, that's the only thing that matters.